Can you imagine living in the jungle for 41 years, completely cut off from the world? No roads, no electricity, no phones, and no human voices, only trees, animals, and silence. This is the true story of HoVanLang, a man who lived with his father in the forests of Vietnam for over 4 decades, far away from the modern world. In 1972, Vietnam was still in the middle of a terrible war. The Vietnam War. Fighting between North Vietnam, South Vietnam, and American forces had taken thousands of lives. One day, during an airstrike, a bomb destroyed HoVanLang's village. His mother and 2 brothers died instantly. His father, HoVanThan, a former soldier, was so traumatized by this tragedy, he believed that the entire world was no longer safe. So, he picked up his 2-year-old son Lang and disappeared into the jungle. They never came back. For the next 41 years, father and son lived in complete isolation, deep inside a remote forest in Quang Ngai province. They built small shelters from wood, made clothes out of tree bark, and hunted animals like monkeys, snakes, and rodents for food. They knew nothing about what happened after the war, because they never met another person. Lang grew up thinking this was the normal way of life. He had no education, no contact with people, and didn't even know that women existed because his father never mentioned them. Imagine growing up without ever seeing another human being. No school, no toys, no birthdays, no friends, just the trees, the animals, and your father. In 2013, some villagers spotted strange movements in the jungle. They informed local authorities, who sent a team to investigate. What they found shocked everyone. There, in a small wooden hut, were 2 men wearing loincloths made from dried leaves, calm, quiet, and completely unaware that the world had changed. The father was old and weak, Lang, then around 41 years old, looked strong and healthy, but confused by the people around him. They were brought back to the village for health and medical care. For the first time in his life, Lang saw things like cars and roads, electric lights, shops and houses, and dozens of people at once. At first, he was curious. He smiled, looked around, and tried to understand, but inside, he was nervous. Everything he knew was gone. Think about how we feel just being offline for a day. Lang had never even seen a screen, never heard music from a phone, never tasted packaged food. His father, however, was even more scared. He believed that the world was still dangerous, and that they should go back to the forest. He would often say, "The world is full of lies. It killed our family once. We must not trust it again." In 2017, HoVanLang's father died. He had spent most of his life in survival mode, protecting his son from a world he didn't understand. Lang was now alone and had to learn how to live in a world full of people, machines, and noise. He tried his best. He learned some basic skills and began adapting to modern life. But deep inside, he still missed the forest, the quiet, and his father's company. Sadly, in 2021, just 8 years after returning to society, HoVanLang passed away. Doctors believed that his body couldn't adjust to modern life. After decades of clean air, natural food, and low stress, his body was suddenly exposed to pollution, processed food, crowds, noise, and stress. All this may have weakened his immune system and led to his death. Isn't it strange? The man who survived wild animals, storms, and 40 years in a jungle couldn't survive the modern world. The story of HoVanLang is more than just surprising. It teaches us powerful lessons. You don't need technology to survive. Peace can be found in simplicity, and sometimes, nature takes better care of us than modern society. Lang lived quietly, loved deeply, and never hurt anyone. He didn't have followers, phones, or fame, but he had a kind heart, a peaceful life, and a story that the world will never forget. If you found this story inspiring or emotional, please like, comment, and subscribe. Sometimes, the most incredible lives are lived far away from the world we know.